deservedly so. Deeply religious people in a scolding way can come across as just that, as scolds, as someone who knows exactly what's going on, as somebody who's very judgmental, somebody who's very binary. In other words, it's all this or it's all that. There's all right or it's all wrong. Very little grace in the middle about finding places that are gray, which is true for most of our lives. And yet the other flip of it is, boy, religious people are some of the best people in the world. I love hanging out with religious people. I love people who share the same basic approach that I have to life, and it adds a lot of love and grace and connection and deep friendships. So how do we sort of find that angle of it versus the angle that's sort of like a scold and judgmental and all those things, sort of the old church ladies of Saturday Night Live fame? How do we avoid that? So I want to share with you a passage here that talks about that, and this is from the book Heaven and Hell, number 405, and it's talking about angels and how angels work and how all this stuff kind of comes together. And it's about this. It's about variety centered around love, and that's kind of the essence of it. Hear that as we're reading through this. How do we not be a jerk if we're religious? Well, we just embrace variety centered around love. How to not be a jerk? Variety centered around love. So here's the passage. Almost all the people who arrive in the next life think that hell's the same for everyone and heaven is the same for everyone, when in fact there are infinite variations and differences in each. Hell is never the same for any two people, nor is heaven. In the same way, no one of us, no spirit, and no angel is ever exactly like any other. That's a beautiful concept. The idea that your idea of heaven, my idea of heaven are going to be different. There's huge variety in that. And it creates, it sort of sets up this wonderful journey of discovery, this wonderful journey of getting to know people better and understand them better and sort of see what lights them up. Boy, that's such a good way to live. And that really is embracing heaven here in life, because it's a variety centered around love. Last night, wife and I had a wonderful dinner out with some people, and it was just this great dinner down in the city. And it's somebody, one of the people there we had ever met before, and it was just great getting a chance to know them a little better, sort of understand what makes them tick, and we're centered around love because we're talking about a wedding that's coming up. I love that kind of thing. Like that is heaven here on earth. That really is heaven here on earth. And the way that the Lord kind of pulls off this trick where you have variety that's not kind of spinning outward, but variety that is very closely knitted is, again, you place love at the center, and all that variety has something it's pulling towards. It's example I use all the time with couples. It's like in an orchestra, you have a bunch of beautiful musicians. You need something that pulls them into the center, and that's the music. That's the sheet music. We're all reading from the same sheet. There's a conductor. That's obvious who that is, and that's what we're doing. But there's incredible variety in that, and there's the ability to appreciate what other people are bringing to it, knowing that if you were just one note doing one thing, playing one instrument, it would not be nearly as engaging as having this huge harmony of different sounds going on. So, friends, it's a pretty straightforward lesson, but I think pretty profound. So this weekend, as best you can, practice being religious without being a jerk. That's simple. And how do you do that? Well, what you do is you really lean into this idea of variety centered around love. Really try to discover where someone else is coming from. Really try to be this loving presence that just welcomes a lot of different perspectives, knowing that heaven is going to be different for all of us. I mean, will we share some basics that are the same? Absolutely. But the specific exercise of heaven is different for every individual, even slightly so. And boy, can that bring a lot of joy to life. So I hope that makes sense, dear friends. And what we're going to do now we're going to shift gears. And as we shift gears here at New Church Live, what we do is we very simply do a little prayer, a little blessing, and then we say hi to friends who've joined us on Facebook. So with that, dear friends, let's get a little breath and a meditation. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am. Be still and know that I. Be still and know that. Be still and know. Be still and. Be still. Be. Our Father, who art in the heavens, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, as in heaven, so upon the earth. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we also forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May the Lord lift up his countenance upon you, bring you peace, and bring you home. Amen. All right, dear friends, let me just get a quick cheery hello here to our dear friends who are joining us here online. All right. Martha, good morning to you. And Linda, good morning to you, my dear friends. Sorry, but I'm leaning in and you guys are like getting my beard in your, your camera. My apologies. All right. Yeah, let me see if there's anybody else here. All right. Mark, love you, Pastor Jack. Thanks for all you do. Mark, great to see you. And Mark, wonderful to see you, buddy. Really appreciate you as a pastor and everything you're doing out there in California. All right, dear friends. Well, listen, God bless all of you. We will see you on Sunday at New Church Live.